Welcome back, everybody. It is the Working Brother back at you with another flight this time. We've got a flight going on. Drago is here. Soviet Russian Bear is here. Drago Lyub.
Yeah, what's up, everyone? Hi.
Soviet Russian Bear, how you doing?
I'm great, and how are you?
Pretty good.
It's
pretty
great
good.
being
Are you
here, as
excited?
always.
Are you excited? We're gonna take the Su57 for a little flight today. Hold on.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have some, this is not as easy as it looks, everybody. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now I can no more see what you're saying, but, let's see if I can maybe turn up the volume. Drago, you want to tell us about the Su57 while I sort out, it's not our first time flying.
Yeah, it's like this Russian junk composed of shovels and washing machine microchips. It doesn't work, can't fly. It gets overheated. Oh, sorry, that's the F-35. Sorry, I got the wrong Wikipedia page. Jokes aside, the Su-57 is the next generation Russian multi-role / air superiority fighter. I mean, we can say it's the first jet that actually generations, because it has tech that is far beyond the 5th gen, and it's not focused only on stealth. I mean, the Russians did make it stealth, but it's not just a stealth aircraft. It can also carry stuff externally, and also it is the only new jet that actually can carry hypersonic missiles. It has several of these munitions that are going to be ready in the next few years. There's like this version of the Kinjal that is going to be specifically for the Su-57, and there's also the GZUR, which is like the hypersonic maneuverable rocket, if we're going to translate it roughly from Russian. It's super maneuverable.
Missile.
Missile. Yeah, missile would be a better word.
Yeah.
And it's super maneuverable. It's very fast. It has new engines, the AL-51F. It also has an even newer engine with flat nozzles that can rotate. What the exact name for the new engine is, because I've seen a lot of these factory markings, but I don't think there's an official military name for it yet. But either way, like, it has two engines, essentially two new engines for it. And it rocks. I mean, it's the only battle-proven 5th gen aircraft in the world, in the most densely defended air defense area, because Ukraine has inherited approximately 30% of the Soviet air defense systems, and the Soviet Union had the largest and the most complex air defense network in the history of warfare. So 30% of that went to Ukraine, and the Su-57 is just dancing around it.
Yeah.
Just want to interject a bit here. We are dancing in the skies of the border between Egypt and Gaza. Gaza to our right. We took off, I believe, at a military airbase, and we're gonna go fly over Gaza just to see how big it is, and then go see what's going on in Syria. You guys feel free to talk about whatever you want. I'm gonna try and sort out the music here, because we've got this thing on repeat, and it shouldn't be on repeat. There we go. Yes.
So
we can.
Soviet Russian Bear, what do you think about this
song.
Russian hypersonic, I mean supersonic in this case, shovel?
Hypersonic. You mean the Su-50? Well, Su-57 can be armed with hypersonic shovels. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the hypersonic shovels, even without flying, even without using them, it's scared. It kept that. We kept that. What was it? At F-16, F-18. They were supposed to do a flight. Demonstration flight.
Well, I mean, it has the interesting thing about it is actually it's the only 5th gen aircraft with actual hypersonic air-to-air missiles, namely the R-97. Not the R-37M as people think, because it cannot carry those, because they cannot fit in the internal weapons base. So they developed, I mean, the Russians have developed a completely new missile for it, which is partially based on the R-37M. But the point is, it has longer range, and it's faster actually than the R-37M, which again, as I said, is like Mach 6 or 7. It's a hypersonic air missile, for almost 400 kilometers in a maximum range. So yeah, it's like a flying freaking S-400. So good luck trying to fight that.
We're going to be passing by the Rafah crossing soon, famous for being shelled by the Israeli occupation forces. Here is Rafah, that town that was supposed to be in the south of Gaza, that was supposed to be declared a safe spot, and we all know how that ended.
Well, NATO gave the guarantees, man. I mean,
how do you feel about what's been going on recently in the news? This is the first recording that I've done in like maybe 2-3 weeks, and I haven't gotten anybody's take or given mine on let's say Trump and things that are going on. How do you feel about Gaza? This is Gaza, by the way, the place that they want to like clean totally. I mean, well, how did they say it? Relocate? I need a cigarette.
A lot of countries are protesting against this plan, including Turkey, and like even Canada is protesting.
Really? I haven't heard about Canada's protest.
Well, they're probably doing that more because of the tariffs and, you know, Trump being Trump and all that. You know, the thing that is the most disappointing is all these Arab countries that are neighboring Gaza. Nobody's, you know, moving a muscle about it. Nobody's saying anything.
I actually heard the Egyptians. The Jordanian, apparently, he said it's not acceptable, blah, blah, it needs to be a two-state solution. But that's a tweet, and it wasn't very clear. But, by the way, for everybody, that line that you can see in the middle of your screen, that is the border of Gaza. So that's like the sea right there, and this is the wall, which is much bigger than the Berlin Wall, for the record. Like 3 times the size. But the point is, the Egyptians apparently, they said, oh no, also, and they moved, and they're doing like military exercises just about where we took off, from what I understood, Drago.
Yeah, I've seen that, but the problem is they haven't been doing anything to help the Gazans. You know, oftentimes they would just block, you know, humanitarian aid from reaching Gaza. And I heard from very informed sources that the so-called negotiations on the peace deal were done pretty much controlled by Mossad and Shin Bet, because the Egyptian representative and the Palestinian representative were both pretty much in bed with the Mossad, and they signed a peace deal that wasn't really favorable to Gaza because it doesn't deal with their return to their homes if there are any homes left. So the issue is it doesn't deal with that, and this is why, because that's left out, you know, just out there. We don't know how things should you know, be according to that. The problem is it gives the U.S. the chance to just, you know, demand whatever they want, including like, oh, all of Gaza, we're going to get it, all of it, and it's going to be ours, as President Trump said. So, you know, in that regard, I wouldn't be very optimistic when it comes to Egyptians. And first of all, the Egyptian military is no match for the Israelis, not because, you know, it's weak, but it's because most of it is controlled by Americans, because the Egyptians stupidly have decided to become a U.S. puppet since the 1980s, and most of their military is composed of these downgraded tanks and jets, you know, that are no match for the Israelis, because an Egyptian F-16 is like 2 generations in tech behind an Israeli F-16I Sufa. So, you know, I'm not sure like what they are going to be able to do. Like, they could do something with MiG-29s, and you know, they would have been able to do something with an Su-35, but, you know, they gave up on the deal because the Americans. You know, what they're going to do now with against the Israeli F-16s and F-15s when you don't have a good jet.
Yeah.
I don't know about the military side of it, but generally speaking, the some of the words that Trump's been using and like the phrases can be interpreted in two different ways. Let's put it that way. And it seems like he's using words to mean like different things to different people.
Do you think Trump is bluffing when he says we should like resettle Gaza?
I think he's just saying what he needs to say for the Israelis for the time being. But look here, like wouldn't like you could make such a nice hotel. It'd be like perfect, like Riviera right here, huh?
Yeah.
Riviera, perfect. Like just move all these people, and then make a Riviera, and then let them come back. By the way, this is a comedy show, even though we're flying. This is a flying comedy show.
Yeah. Like this British flying circus.
Basically.
What is it called?
So, I can't remember.
Monty Python flying circus?
Something like that. I think we should go get some altitude here.
Yeah.
Above these Israeli air defenses. So yeah, how do you guys like this format? I'm thinking it's okay.
Yep.
We're gonna be flying towards Syria soon. But how do you feel about considering we're in the airspace and we're kind of talking about it? How do you feel about that other thing? What's it called? Sorry, I had a notification here that I hope won't be on screen, that I won't have to go back and edit the video. But yeah, considering we're flying over Israel, how do you feel about them taking over the Golan Heights and those, what are they, 7 bases? Something like that they said that they will keep permanently within Syria, former Syria?
Well, the Golan Heights are Syrian land. International. Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Just like Crimea.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
I said Golan Heights are as much Syrian as Crimea is Russian.
I believe you. It's true. Unfortunately, what do you think about the current government in Syria?
Government?
Yeah. You know, I was listening to somebody, Kevorkian, Kevork is his name. Almasian, yeah, from Syriana Report. He had a guest on, I can't remember his name, but he was saying he's the president of Damascus. You know, he's not the president of Syria because, like, he doesn't really have power. Yeah.
You know, interesting how that works. Assad actually holds elections, he wins, but he's a dictator, and these guys, you know, literally conquer a country. That's very, very interesting how that works.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you guys during this call? Do you get cuts in the audio? Because sometimes when you're talking, and it happened. Yeah. And it happened with the other recording. I don't think this is a good enough solution for these recordings, but it'll have to do for now because it is the only one we got. But we will. Telegram is not what it used to be. We're flying over Ben Gurion Airport. You know, Trump said all hell will break loose if the ceasefire is broken. And there's two ways to interpret that, you know, as always. One, the ceasefire has already been broken by the Israelis. to the like deal, like the hostage exchange deal and everything, has been honored by Hamas as much as and not, even more than Israel, from what I understand. I'm no expert, but that's what what I'm led to believe by the propaganda I'm exposed to. So now we're at what are we? 31,000 feet.
Yeah.
At about Mach 0.8. Going for a cruise down to I think our next destination is Damascus. In any case, very strange that Trump is saying that all hell will break loose, because if the Israelis are the ones who are actually breaking the ceasefire, and if they're the ones who are how should I say to be punished, and then they take it the wrong way, and they go and continue their war, if you want to call it that, against Hamas. What's to say that Iran and the Houthis won't send, like, you know, times 10 hypersonic missiles that they sent last time? How do you guys feel about that? Do you think that's possible? Do you think that's what Trump was actually alluding to? That all of this Israeli land can be covered with hypersonic missiles?
You want to go about that, Soviet Russian bear?
You mean that when Trump said all hell breaks loose, and the Houthis, he means the Houthis launch like hypersonic missiles on Israel?
Yeah, like because like the Israelis will break the ceasefire, and then the deal will be off, and then the Iranians and the what are they called, Houthis, can get into it, you know, and punish Israel, and like America won't help them because, you know, America first.
Well, I'm hopeful.
They have already struck. They already struck. The Houthis like struck Israel like a couple months ago. Yeah. They struck Tel Aviv. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Patriot missiles helped. I mean, come on, man! They shoot down 6 Russian hypersonic missiles even when 2 are fired.
Yeah.
They're not as good as the Ukrainian Patriots.
But the Iranians, Iranians are gonna help the Houthis.
Well, they already
Drago,
doing
what do
that,
you think?
But, you know, I'm not really sure if Trump would leave Israel hanging, because many of his donors and, you know, people he works with are actually very close to Israel. I mean, his son-in-law is close to Israel.
Of course,
you don't say, huh? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the Israelis. So like the I can't really expect Trump to ignore any threats to Israel, and also he has a lot of these very, you know, anti-Iranian hawks, like, in his administration.
Rubio is a hawk and against Iran.
Yeah, like these people they remind me so much of anti-Iraqi hawks in Bush's 2003 administration, you know, and they don't have as many soldiers as in the Middle East as they used to have 20 years ago, but still, I think I talked about this a few times already. They have these submarines with W-76-2 not really thermonuclear, but nuclear warheads, which are like 2 to 7 kilotons in destructive power. So those things are useless against a country like Russia or China. I mean, if you fire that on Russia, Russia's going to fire a Sarmat at you, and you're done. Like, for the next 10,000 years, there's going to be a glass wasteland. So that's unusable against Russia. So, like, why do you need such a weak? I mean, a relatively weak nuclear weapon. Because it's like weaker than the Hiroshima bomb. Well, I mean, if you want to use it, you can use it against a country like Iran, which can't really shoot back at America. It can shoot back at American bases in the Middle East, but it cannot shoot back at America. You know, I'm not really. I would be very, very careful if I were an Iranian, because, you know, Trump is not going to start a war, you know, out of the blue. But a lot of people that he's surrounded with would like to see that. So, yeah, I don't think, you know, and also there's the question of gas. And this is something I wanted to mention when you were flying over Gaza. The U.S. doesn't care who runs Gaza. What they care about is the gas fields, which are, you know, in the EEZ, offshore, exactly. In the exclusive
I'll leave
zone.
a link. I'll leave a link where I discussed that with George. But like, yeah, we've covered that. There's also gas there also, by accident. Has nothing to do with freedom and democracy.
Yeah, the Iranians have tested the drone,
Riviera.
The Iranians have tested a drone, which can be launched from underneath the water.
I saw that today. That was beautiful. The Trump was like the Iranians need to stop their drone and missile programs. The next day, the Iranians like put out underwater drone that flies.
So the Americans should not underestimate Iran.
Oh, of course. I mean, Iran is a much bigger bite, you know, than Iraq ever was, but especially today. But this is why they need nukes, you know. This is why they want to use nukes, because they know that conventionally there's no way to win against Iran unless you want to like waste 10 million soldiers. But
you can tell by the topical names that we've already left formerly Israel. But I believe this here, the top, this peak, the highest peak here, is that Mount Hebron, I think it's called, is it? It says Jerniah is obviously a village here. But anyway, that is where that radar station is that now Israel has control over. They can see like half the Mediterranean, basically. I just wanted to say that while we're here. At what's this altitude? 98,000 feet. No, 9,800. Sorry. So yeah. Keep going, Drago. Sorry to interject.
Yeah, I was just saying that these you know, gas fields are important for gas that will at some point be transferred to Europe, and then there's also the gas that would go through Qatar, from Qatar through Syria, through Turkey to Europe. And there's also the gas from Azerbaijan that would also go through. What they're trying to do now is they're trying to get as much gas as possible so that they could, you know, counter Russian gas through the formerly known as South Stream. Now it's known as the Turk Stream. So it's all about economics. You know, it's all about attempts to take away Russian customers in Europe. Which, of course, I mean, they can't do it. There's not enough gas to match Russia, but they will try to do it anyway, just to, you know, to reduce Europe's gas dependency on Russia as much as possible. And this is why all these freaking wars are happening, partially because of that. Now, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but yeah.
By the way, Europe still covertly like buys Russians LNG, Russian LNG.
Absolutely.
No,
absolutely.
you're a Russian conspiracy theorist. You're. Like dog.
Oh right, I forgot. India suddenly discovered these massive deposits of oil that didn't have. So now they're you know, they're the ones.
Everybody found new deposits of oil, and Russian ships just keep sinking randomly with like 3 explosions, like whether it's a merchant ship or a military transport ship or like any. They just randomly keep. Disappearing. I mean sinking. Yeah, by the way, we're approaching Damascus. That is how far away we are. That's Damascus proper, I think, over there, or right here under us. So yeah, just wanted to highlight that for people, that we are very close to everything here. Keep going.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Damn, I lost track.
Gas.
Right. Well, we were talking about. Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is, of course, about these ships. They keep claiming that it's that Russian ships are sinking because of the lack of Swiss security insurance for them. I mean, it's
What?
so ridiculous.
I never heard that. Really? That's what they're saying?
Yeah,
That's
like
hilarious.
because of the sanctions, the Russians cannot insure their ships, and because they're all Soviet junk from the 70s, that they keep sinking, which of course is ridiculous to anyone who knows how ships work, because a ship doesn't just sink like that, especially not like 5 of them in a row. So
my apologies. This is Damascus, by the way. That other
they
town
also
looked a little small. Go on. They also
the reason why woke video games fail, like their sales are down the woke video games, their sales are in the toilet. So Russia is to blame, obviously.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, the Russian hackers put all those alphabet soup people, in there, and I don't know, gender fluid lizard monsters and whatever. Yeah, it's all the
has
Russian
nothing
hackers.
to do with USAID. Look at this beautiful plane.
Bravo, guys, come on. But if the frame rate keeps being like this, you're probably going to land like an F-35.
Actually, honestly, now the frame rate is back to normal. I think it was just Damascus. We passed the electronic warfare. We'll do a touch and go here we'll do a touch and go here for the sake of it. Let's do this and then give me gear. Can I get gear?
Yeah.
Can I get gear? Can I get gear? No? No gear.
No, don't crash us, man. Get the gear.
Well, I believe even without the gear, the SU57 is going to land better than an F-35 with the gear.
Probably true. Okay, gear is coming out. We'll just do a touch and go. But we're going to continue on our flight, just so you know.
Come on.
Oh, damn. Maybe we won't continue on our flight. So that's all she wrote. Everyone, thank you for coming along for this flight. We damaged our landing gear. We had some frame rate drops. We might go for another flight. We'll see how it goes.
I
like,
like
share,
this
subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget. Check out the
like
links.
this format. Yeah, it's awesome.